wrestling fans, and welcome to another edition of the Piledriver Weekly. I'm Electric Eric Davidson, and this is my partner Ace Larson. We got a ton of things to cover in this week's show. Last show before Mania, but I have to get in here real quick and just give our condolences to the family of the Nature Boy Ric Flair. He lost his son Reed this week. Reed was only 25. The cause of death is unknown, and we're not going to speculate on that. But we just wanted the Nature Boy and his family to know that our thoughts and prayers are with him. And now we're going to go to OVW and do a quick rundown here. We've got a ton to get in this week, so
we're going to be brief here.
Yeah, I'm going to try and keep this as brief as possible. The first match of the night was Joe Rosa versus Eddie Diamond. Rosa mostly dominated the match until Epiphany interfered, allowing Diamond to get the win. Then we go to Paradise versus Albert Baxter. Baxter's doing this kind of Steve Urkel thing. He actually even comes out to the music for Family Matters. Looked like he actually stood a chance there for a second, but Paradise gets the win. And last week, when they had done the whole thing with the makeover with Brittany Devereaux, and she got the mustard dumped on her, I'd actually mentioned that I thought it kind of reminded me a little bit of the movie Carrie. And now they're going full blown with it. She's backstage, acting psychotic and stuff with red lights on her. And one of the announcers even mentioned the movie Carrie, so she had a Carrie moment or something like that. So, next match up, TV title match. Our good friend Rockin' Ryan Howe versus the TV champ Spud, the Rockstar Spud, whatever you want to call him. Pretty solid match, not bad. There's some distraction with Taylor Hendricks coming out and Dylan Bostic and Heidi Lovelace. Hal actually gets counted out, but then they restart the match because Spud asked the ref to. I guess he's being honorable, didn't want to lose that way, whatever. And I really thought Ryan was going to take it there for a minute, but Spud gets the drop on him, gets the win, retains the title. Then we go backstage, Tony Gunn, Randy Royal, Cliff Compton. Cliff Compton's been pulling double duty. He's been OVW and Ring of Honor, and we'll get to that here in a little while. But there's going to be a TV title match with them next week. And then there's supposed to be an OVW title match between Crimson and Doug Williams, but it didn't happen. They're going to save it for the Saturday Night Special, which Saturday Night Special is
this Saturday, April 6th.
This Saturday, April 6th. You got it. And that also is the same day that they moved to their new TV network, WBNA 21, Saturdays at noon. OVW. Catch it. Would love to spend more time on OVW here, but like I said, we got a ton to cover this week with Mania coming up, and there's also Ring of Honor pay-per-view this weekend, and we want to be able to get to that before the end of the show.
Huge wrestling weekend.
Huge wrestling weekend. Very, very huge. So now we're going to go on to Impact. Impact from Jonesboro, Arkansas.
Better than last week?
I wish I could say it was. But the only thing better about it is there was less of the Bully Ray videos talking about his master plan and all that. Mm-hmm. They open with a recap of the setup for the four-way.
I hate when these shows open up with recaps.
Yeah, they kind of do it to death. But then Jeff Hardy's music hits. He comes out. It's open fight night. This once a month thing they do. Open fight night. He gets interrupted by aces and eights. Anderson of the Aces and Eights, he kind of rambles. You hear the crowd chanting, "Please shut up." That was kind of funny.
Yeah.
Hardy gets jumped by the Aces and Eights, of course. Then Angle, Samoa Joe, Magnus, and Eric Young, of all people, come out to make the save.
Do they make the save?
Yeah, Aces and Eights kind of retreat, and Hardy ends up calling out Anderson for the open fight night.
What a challenge.
Yeah. But anyhow, so that's going to take place later on in the show. Then they take a look back at the tag title match from last week, which was a spectacular match.
Very good.
Very, very good match.
Maybe two of the best tag teams in all of wrestling right now.
Yeah, it really, I have to say that they're, and also with Daniels and Kazarian thrown in the mix, that's a good kind of triangle they got going there. And so we see Chavo and Hernandez heading out to the ring. They come out and end up calling out Kazarian and Daniels. Surprise, surprise, for costing them the match the week before, I guess. And there's an added stipulation here that the winner of this match will be top contenders for the tag team titles. And yeah,
When's that set to take place?
that
Have they
will
announced
be.
it yet?
Yeah, I believe that will be in 2 weeks at Corpus Christi.
Okay.
On
Impact?
Yes.
Okay.
I believe so, if I'm remembering correctly. They go straight into the match here. So it ends up being a good match. It was a lot like the week before. Not quite as good. The week before, I'd probably give it a 5-star. This one was probably a 4-star. But really good match. And, the crowd in Arkansas was pretty hot, especially for this match.
I think these tag team matches that these guys are having in TNA are more exciting than the heavyweight title matches they're having as main events.
Oh, absolutely, 100%. And really, the X Division matches are even better than the heavyweight title matches in most cases. Then we get a tease from Taryn backstage. She's putting on her new threads since she's no longer the Knockouts referee. Now she's a Knockout. She's getting ready for her first match. She's going to come out and call somebody out, and I wonder who that's going to be. But anyhow, they recap the whole lead up with Brooke and Kim and Taryn.
Bad acting.
Yeah. Taryn comes out, calls out Gail Kim, big shocker. And I gotta say, Gail Kim, so irritating on the mic. I mean,
not
just
bad in the ring.
Not bad at all in the ring. Actually, pretty good.
Yeah.
But man, on the mic, especially with this character she's trying to play right now, just very irritating, and not in a good way. Not in. I mean, like,
hard to endure.
Yeah, hard to listen to. So Tara, of all people, comes out and helps Gail Kim proceed to beat down Taryn. I don't know what horse she has in this race, but
what dog she's got in this fight.
Yeah, but then Velvet Sky comes out for the save, and then on the way to commercial, there's actually a backstage altercation between the four. Then we go to a plug for next week's Gut Check, another once a month thing they're doing, and it's going to be Adam Pearce versus Magno. Now, I'm going to admit I'm not familiar with Magno. From what I understand, he's been around for several years. But Adam Pearce is a former NWA champion. Adam Pearce is a good wrestler. So it'd be cool if he got a contract there. Then we go backstage again. Sting is pissed off at Hogan, trying to get into the office, blah, blah, blah.
That's just laughable.
Yeah.
Laughable at me.
Then we see Hogan BS and Hardy backstage, Major's sucking up here to Hardy, and he actually lets Hardy pick the stipulation for his match coming up at Corpus Christi.
Mm-hmm.
He hasn't said what the stipulation is going to be yet, but anyhow, Sting's music hits. He comes out. He's not even supposed to be there. Hogan had told him not to show up that night. And Sting, talks about being wrong about Bully Ray, and he's apologizing, and he calls out Hogan for open fight night. Now, we all know that Hogan's, not going to wrestle.
Yeah.
So, Hogan comes down to the ring, and...
Is he still at the crutch?
At first, yeah. But then he throws it down, suddenly doesn't need the crutch anymore. Sting still trying to apologize to Hogan. Hogan bitches about Bully Ray. Sting throws it back in Hogan's face. Tells him to get over it, man up, take responsibility, blah, blah, blah. Then this was kind of funny. Hogan tells Sting to get the hell out, and Sting says, make me. That was kind of funny. But and then as Sting is leaving through the backstage area, we see Matt Morgan, which is kind of random. He says, another Hogan mistake. Who knows exactly what he's talking about.
Do they even know?
Yeah. Then we see a recap of the whole AJ Styles thing, which is kind of bizarre. Then out comes Storm. Gee, I wonder who he's going to call out for Fight Night. Then we see Styles in the crowd. Styles with a beard now. I guess since he's a badass, he's got a beard now.
Yeah, tough guy.
Yeah. Storm offers to hey man, let's have a beer, talk about it, or we can fight about it, whatever. Then the Aces and Eights come out, and they jump Storm. AJ just leaves, and Eric Young once again comes out, attempts a save. He starts getting beat down. Then Angle comes out and kind of evens the odds, and
it just doesn't seem like they're going anywhere with any of this.
Yeah, it's
anything credibility or substance. It's just,
I feel like I'm getting dumber just talking about it. But so Angle challenges Bischoff, Briscoe, and Doc of the Aces and Eights to a 6-man with himself, Storm, and Eric Young later. Okay, so at this point of Impact, we're an hour and 15 minutes into the show, and we've seen one match.
Really, nothing has happened.
Yeah, one match. And
you'd think so close to WrestleMania that they would try to be attracting some kind of viewers toward
right.
Doing something exciting. It's something, anything. Just not the same old garbage down our throats that means nothing every week, week in, week out. One match in 15 minutes.
Yeah. So then we get the 6-man. It's a half decent match. Nothing to scream about. Aces and Eights get the win. And then we see more Aces and Eights backstage stuff with the Dudleys and Anderson. Anderson goes berserk and getting all pumped up for his match, whatever.
Anderson's always been lame to me. I'm sorry, but he just has never done it for me.
He had a small window of opportunity there, and he missed it.
Yeah,
it's over for Anderson. Then backstage with the X Division guys, Sanjay Dutt, Mason Andrews, and the returning Petey Williams. Haven't seen Petey in a while, but those three guys are going to square off next week.
Everything's next week or 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Or in a month, next year.
Then we get a recap of Hardy and Bully Ray from Lockdown. Why? I don't know. So then we get to Hardy versus Anderson. It's a decent match. Hardy gets DQ'd for using a hammer, then continues to assault.
I did catch the end of this. He was about to jump on
Yeah.
Anderson on the table,
Yeah.
and Bully Ray came in and interfered.
Yeah, he's about to come off the ladder, and yeah. So Hardy says it'll be basically their version of a TLC match next week. Or, 2 weeks from now.
He even say stairs. He had stairs.
Yeah, he called it Full Metal Mayhem.
I want to travel and see that live.
That's going to be 2 weeks, Corpus Christi.
Are you excited about the match?
Oh, I can't wait. But the thing is, man, not only did the fans in Arkansas get robbed of an ending to a match, they got robbed of a spectacular high spot.
Yeah.
And I'm really hoping that they had a couple of dark matches before the show started on TV, because if I pay for a ticket to Impact and I only see 2 friggin' matches all night long, I'm going to be really upset.
Yeah.
So, anyhow, that's Impact. Not really too much to discuss there. My partner here didn't even catch it this week, so
I was working, and even work was more exciting than TNA Impact.
But yeah, you didn't miss much, man. So then, and I hate to feel like we're flying through this, but we really want to get to the Mania stuff.
Run through SmackDown. How was that?
Yeah, SmackDown from Hershey, Pennsylvania. Starts out, The Rock makes his entrance, which,
I heard he talked and talked and talked.
He talked for a while, but at least it wasn't John Cena.
Yeah. We'll get to that later.
And he did tell kind of a couple funny stories. And you could tell that he seemed to have a genuine love for that city. He had spent a lot of time there when he was younger with some friends and stuff. He said at one point when he was about 15 that he lived about an hour away from there.
Well, that's cool.
And him and his buddies would come up to Hershey Park, and they even put a picture of him when he was a teenager up on the Titantron. Is it still called the Titantron? Am I behind?
That's what I still call it.
Okay.
I don't know if it's anything different, but I'll always refer to it as the Titantron.
Okay, so if they've updated the name, I haven't heard about it. And Rock, he's out there doing his spiel, and he's having story time with The Rock, and everybody's feeling great about it. Then John Laurinaitis,
of all people,
comes out and interrupts, and obviously The Rock is not going to be happy about that.
It's like the beer commercial, the most interesting man in the world. John Laurinaitis in the wrestling business is like the least exciting man in the wrestling business.
And I remember when he was Johnny Ace, teaming with Shane Douglas, the dynamic dudes.
Oh my gosh.
The fake skaters.
Keanu Reeves and Patrick Swayze ripoff.
Yeah. So Laurinaitis comes out, and he offers to be in Rock's corner at Mania, because he's kind of got a vendetta against Cena as well. The Rock, kind of teases it for a minute, but then of course he ends up slamming
Laurinaitis.
Yeah, it wasn't a rock bottom. It was almost kind of like a spine buster, but without the spin around. I don't know. And then he does the people's elbow on him, and so that's the opening segment there.
That already sounds better than Impact.
Yeah. Then we get Chris Jericho versus Wade Barrett. Pretty solid match here. Jericho gets the win with the code breaker, and this is where I would usually bitch about them jobbing out Barrett, the Intercontinental Champion, but
it's somebody credible.
They jobbed him out to a 6-time world champion
and a 9-time Intercontinental champion.
Yeah, so it doesn't really hurt Barrett.
Yeah.
It still, to me, is kind of like, why have those two wrestle?
Yeah.
Because
it means nothing.
It means nothing at this point. But it was a decent match. And then after the match, Jericho gets on the mic and starts making fun of Fandango's name again. Fandango comes out, acts like he's going to do something about it, but he chickens out. My question here is, who's the dancing chick with Fandango? That's what I want to know.
I don't know, but I'd like to know.
Yeah, I would like to know. She's fine, and I like the way she keeps winking at me when I'm watching.
And we have a Facebook page now, so you can look us up, whoever you are.
That's right. Look us up. Send us an email. Hey,
just a like. We can take just a like.
Yeah, just let us know who you are and what you're about. We'd like to know. Anyhow, then we take another look back at Triple H Lesnar.
Oh my gosh,
they're killing me with the recaps here, but then they go backstage. Josh Matthews is interviewing Heyman, or attempting to interview Heyman. Heyman cuts him off and then goes on a rant. I can't even really tell you exactly what he was talking about, but man, Heyman's just such a good talker. I mean, it almost doesn't even matter what he's talking about.
It doesn't even have to make sense.
Yeah.
It just sounds good.
Then Booker T and Teddy Long come out to the top of the ramp.
Oh gosh, another announced tag team match, I'm sure.
Well, actually, no. We're gonna have a bench press contest.
Oh, even better.
Between Ryback and Mark Henry. Booker introduces Ryback. Then he starts to introduce. He introduces Ryback. Then he starts to introduce Mark Henry, but Teddy cuts him off. And he introduces Henry, and Booker's kind of like,
"Hold on, player."
And as a matter of fact, Teddy actually says that to him too. He's like, "Hold on, I got this one, player." I like Teddy Long. It's pretty funny. That's a terrible impression. Sorry about that, but so they're doing this competition, and
why?
Henry goes first. I don't know. I don't know what the point is supposed to be. I guess just for bragging rights, but show how strong they are. And Henry goes first, and while he's lifting, and I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure they never even said how much weight they were lifting here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's just what I was wondering.
They didn't even say, but Booker T comes out and says 52 reps is the world record. 52 reps of what?
Yeah. We could do 52 reps.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
So he does 53 reps, of course, and supposedly breaks the world record of whatever weight they were lifting. I don't know. Then, of course, it's Ryback's turn, and when he's just one rep away from tying Henry grabs the bar and pushes it down on him, and of course they're supposed to have this no touch clause.
Yeah, no contact clause.
But, he technically didn't touch Ryback. He touched the bar. So I guess he got away with that one there, and it's just it reminded me a little bit of, I remember years ago they did something similar when the Road Warriors were feuding with the Powers of Pain in the NWA, and Animal actually ended up getting hurt real bad and was out for quite a while. And then when he came back, he had to wear like this hockey mask, but it was like painted up with like this spider web and stuff. It was pretty cool. But anyhow,
another tag team match.
Actually, another look back at Cena's devastating loss last year at Mania.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Just beat a dead horse.
Yeah. Oh, poor baby. Get over it. All right. Then we get Daniel Bryan and Caitlyn in a mixed tag against Ziggler and AJ.
How was that?
Not bad for a mixed tag. It really wasn't.
Caitlyn's another diva they just absolutely waste.
Yeah. Even though they've got the belt on her right now, don't they? I think she's the Divas champion.
Oh, yes, she is.
Which it's easy to forget, but but she, her and AJ are neither one half bad for the current crop of divas, but it wasn't a bad match for mixed tag. And I tell you, Caitlyn ends up getting the win with a nice spear on AJ.
Really?
Yeah, I got to give it to her there. It's pretty nice. Then we see the Shield backstage talking smack about Show, Orton, and Sheamus. Not much to it there. Then out comes the Great Khali with Hornswoggle and Natalya. And speaking of, the Divas division, what a waste of Natalya.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Natalia's really good.
Didn't she go through the dungeon? Yes and no.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, I would say by the time she was coming to the dungeon
was done.
Really didn't even exist anymore.
She's got the ability.
And she's got the pedigree. I mean...
But she comes out and sings and dances with the Khali, for God's
sakes. She's got to be the best wrestler as far as females on the roster.
You think maybe in wrestling today, ability-wise, not the total package as far as promo, but just ability-wise alone?
Possibly.
I would say so personally myself.
I honestly can't say because I would be willing to bet that we haven't seen everything she's capable of in the WWE.
Yeah.
Even when she was in a wrestling role.
Yeah.
But it's like, first they have her doing this angle where she's got bad gas all the time. And now do
these people just piss Vince off? I don't get it. I don't understand this.
I don't get it either. So then Swagger and Dutch Mantel come out
to the ring.
Yeah, Mantel takes some kind of humorous shot at Indian people and how whenever you call like customer service anywhere, it's an Indian person that you can't understand what the hell they're saying, which is kind of wrong but kind of funny because it's true.
Yeah.
And it's not that we hate Indian people, but we just can't understand what the hell you're saying. That was kind of funny. So we got Khali versus Swagger. Khali, awkward as always in the ring. And it actually ends in a double count out. Then Swagger throws Hornswoggle just hard as hell into the barrier.
That's what the contender for the World Heavyweight Championship has been reduced to, throwing midgets in the barricade.
Yeah.
What a terrible build-up now, don't you think?
Yeah. It's just... Then, right after that, Ricardo comes limping down the ramp, and Del Rio attacks Swagger from behind.
This is almost like a circus.
Yeah, it really is. Then another recap of Punk Taker. And then this new girl, Renee Young, interviewing... I'm going to start calling them the trio because I'm tired of saying Sheamus, Show, Orton all the time. They're the trio, okay? She's interviewing the trio, and more Orton is the voice of reason. Then we get the trio versus the Scholars with Cesaro. Yeah.
How was that?
Well, they're making Cesaro look like even more of a clown now. Now they have him yodeling.
I saw that wrong.
Yeah, he's Swiss, so he must yodel. All Swiss people yodel, right?
Oh my gosh!
It wasn't a terrible match. The trio gets the win. Then out come the Shield. The trio actually go into the crowd after him. Don't wait for him to come down. There's some fighting. Then the Shield retreat. End of story. That's SmackDown. All right.
Is the pain over? Is the pain stopped?
So now I'm going to let Ace kick off Raw.
Here we go, guys. We're 6 days away. The Raw before WrestleMania. We started out with more recaps. Please, can we just start out with one in-ring segment first? Please. Triple H, Lesnar recap. Punk, Taker recap. Cena, Rock recap. Okay, we get it. We know what's going to happen. Then we have a Cena promo. And I wasn't drinking that night, but after Cena came out to the ring, I popped the top, and Cena just kept talking, and the crowd was just as anti-Cena as I've seen in a long time. They were booing him out of the state. I mean,
and Cole's usually his usual BS about, a mixed reaction for Cena, and I loved it because King actually called him out on it this time. Jerry Lawler says, I don't know about that. He said, this isn't normal.
It's like they didn't know what to do.
Yeah. I mean, just everybody's just done with Cena, man.
Yeah. They need to do something else with him.
There was a strong Cena sucks chant going.
Yeah.
And of course, then Cena is still crying about his one loss. I mean, he's crying about Rock unveiling his own belt. Man, Cena did the same thing, and his ugly ass belt hung around for 8 years.
Yeah.
8 years we had to look at that spinner belt, man.
Disgrace.
I mean, Cena's starting to sound more and more like a spoiled brat that didn't get every single little toy that he wanted for Christmas, man.
Yeah.
It's
almost worse than Hogan.
Yeah.
It really is.
It's to that point. It's just...
It's almost like you can't do anything with it anymore. He just needs to go away for like a year. He just needs to get out of here.
And then I loved the boring chants after that.
I would have started throwing stuff at him. Like, this is what you're doing with my $100 for a front row seat?
So after we have to endure the torture of...
I slugged 3 or 4 beers down during that segment.
I'm
not
not
lying
segment
at all.
with Cena. What do we got next there, Ace?
Orton show Sheamus versus 3MB. Same old shit. Another 3-on-3 tag match that means nothing, and then we've seen it 500 times, and it was lame just like the first time it was. I mean, I love Orton. He's been my favorite wrestler for years, but it's just like, I don't even want to be an Orton fan because this is the best that you can do with him, and not just him. Show who's got his last few runs here coming up. Sheamus is still in the prime of his life. Then you got the Shield. 3 young, up-and-coming, hungry guys.
Yeah.
This is the best that you can do with them?
But, I will say this much. At least for just maybe half a minute there, 3MB did get a second to kind of shine a little bit there. And as far as the Shield thing goes, I at least feel like they are going somewhere with it.
It is WWE, though.
Yeah, I mean, but I really think there's going to be some sort of big reveal or twist. Yeah, payoff. And man, how good is Ambrose on the mic?
Oh, he's awesome.
He's
great.
I've been real impressed with him, man.
Yeah. His mic work last night was better than Cena's in his whole WWE career.
Yeah.
He's great.
And he's real intense, and he evokes this.
You believe it.
Yeah.
You believe it. What he's saying to you.
And I think he believes it, man.
Yeah.
So that comes across.
I'm really excited about Ambrose. And Seth Rollins.
Yeah. When even Roman.
Yeah, Reigns. Yeah.
Roman Reigns, they have a lot of potential. The match ends. Mahal gets KO'd by Show. And after the Shield comes out and was talking, was it just me, or did they kind of imply like a little bit of maybe a conspiracy going on there?
Yeah, a little bit.
Like when they were like, your team is phony.
Yeah.
like...
Yeah, like they know.
Yeah.
They know something.
Yeah.
Somebody knows something here.
Right. Then we see Swagger and Mantell outside the Capitol building in Washington, D.C.
Swagger talked. Oof.
Yeah. Not a good idea. Then we see Del Rio backstage. Really nothing to that.
Daniel Bryan and Dolph Ziggler.
I thought it was a really good match.
I just love to see these guys go 20, 30, 40 minutes. When you...
Oh, yeah.
Man, talk about tearing the house
Put
down.
them in like a best out of 3 falls match. That would be awesome. I thought it was a real good match.
Big E got into it a little bit, had that hard shot on Kane.
Yeah, just
ring.
overpowered him there.
I kind of like this Ziggler and Big E team.
Yeah.
They're not doing anything else with Ziggler, so might as well put him in a tag team.
And we haven't even seen Langston in the ring yet. But yeah, I kind of like where it's going. Then HBK comes out.
Glad to see it. You?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool. You know, of course you knew he was going to Mania. I mean, he's got to show up for Mania.
Oh yeah, Mr. WrestleMania.
But you know, I thought what he was saying and stuff was at least half truth.
Yeah.
I think a lot of that was kind of out of character. But
you don't think there's a chance he would turn on Triple H, do you?
No, not for this anyway. I mean, they've been at it before. They've been back and forth, but no, not in this situation.
I thought it was great how he brought up how he respected the Undertaker respected him, but he's like, Lesnar doesn't respect you at all, and you don't respect Lesnar. That's the difference.
Yeah.
Which gives it more of a fight feel.
Yeah.
This has been a very good build-up, I think.
I think so too.
You know.
Now, I'm sure it's not going to be the best match of the night when it comes to Mania, but it should be entertaining.
Yeah. Then Heyman cut a promo.
Yeah.
Which is always great. I just love Lesnar just all excited right beside him. Just like he's ready to do it, you know.
Just, kill.
Which Lesnar is really good with his facial emotions and you know what I mean? He's believable.
Yeah.
Not so good on the mic, but as far as a physical presence, he's great.
And then this one just breaks my heart. Wade Barrett and Miz for the Intercontinental title has been reduced to the pre-show.
It's worse than not even being on the card.
Yeah, I mean it really is, man.
Get rid of the Intercontinental title, really. Get rid of the U.S. title. Get rid of the World Heavyweight title. They don't mean shit. They don't mean anything, and it's just, to me, Vince, he's shitting on everybody that's ever held the Intercontinental title and the U.S. title and the World Heavyweight title, but this kind of foolishness.
Yeah.
I mean, really.
I agree.
There was once in a time, and I know you remember this, where the Intercontinental title and the U.S. title meant just as much as the heavyweight title.
Absolutely.
I mean, not as much, but it was a lot.
It meant a lot. It was a very prestigious title to hold, and it was kind of like if you were a good Intercontinental champion,
you'd be a good heavyweight
you had a good chance of becoming world champion.
I'm just surprised Zack Ryder wrestled for over 60 seconds on TV.
Yeah.
That was pretty impressive.
Yeah, not too much of a match. Barrett gets the win there. But and then Santino playing the April Fool's joke on Vicky and Brad Maddox backstage.
Piss break.
Yeah. But it was kind of funny how Vicky turned around on Santino and makes him wrestle Mark Henry.
Yeah.
Squash.
Yeah. Triple squash.
Lasted maybe 20 seconds.
Yeah.
Then Ryback comes out and
big confrontation. Then he throws Santino.
Yeah, it's funny how he used Santino as a weapon.
Yeah.
I found that humorous. I enjoyed that part.
Isn't that crazy? U.S. champion last year used as a lawn dart this year.
Even when he was a U.S. champ, he was a joke. But
he's the Intercontinental champion too. You remember that?
Well, yeah, he won the Intercontinental title out of nowhere. It was the first time you saw it.
Yeah.
Was when he won the Intercontinental title, and that was before he became a clown.
Yeah.
He was actually, taken seriously at that point. Then we get this. They're gonna make Mantel wrestle Del Rio.
Once again, circus. I mean, just
for those younger viewers that when I say Mantel, I'm talking about this Zeb Coulter. I grew up knowing him as Dirty Dutch Mantel, and they're trying to say it's Zeb Coulter's very first match ever, So yeah.
Well,
Dutch Mantel's never wrestled before.
Well, probably most of those fans watching probably
they wouldn't know the difference.
Yeah.
They wouldn't. And I also like how JBL seems to have amnesia about Zeb being his manager back when he was Justin Hawk Bradshaw,
with the long hair
and getting nowhere.
Yeah,
you know they brought Mantel in to help him out.
Yeah,
and nobody seems to remember that ever happening.
That was like 95, wasn't it? Around that time, 96.
Yeah, because Raw hadn't been on the air, but a year or two, and.
And then the next thing, everybody's beating each other up with crutches, and it's just like a crutch fight. And it's just like,
the match never happened. It was a throwaway. So then, Rock makes his way out to the ring. Rock tries to say he's going to be president.
Imagine that in Washington D.C.
Yeah,
I liked when he made that comment though. Talking about Cena, your time is never.
Yeah.
That was cool.
I always enjoy his jabs at Cena.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, he panders to the crowd.
It was a fun promo.
Yeah, and it's definitely a pro-Rock crowd there. I mean, you can tell they were into it.
You got to think, when Cena's involved in the main event, it doesn't even matter who it is, we're going to be double involved in who he's wrestling.
Right.
Whether we like him, love him, hate him, that's how we feel about Cena.
Yeah. But it was either Cole or JBL. One of them, made a note of Rock's confidence here and how Rock's very confident, and how Cena isn't. And I think that's going to play into the result of that match, and we'll get to that here in a little bit. But next, another recap. We got Jericho Fandango. And this...
Did Jericho face Cesaro?
Yeah, it segues into Jericho against Cesaro. And...
It was okay.
Before I get to my point, the match itself was an okay match, pretty good match. Then Fandango dances his way out, and this was kind of funny though when he started putting up the scorecards like he was dancing with the stars or something.
Yeah, that's kind of a shot at Jericho.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah. Jericho gets the win, gets jumped by Fandango, of course. I've been going off about this for weeks now. Cesaro submits again. And okay, he submitted to Jericho there again, just like when Jericho beat Barrett. He's getting beat by a 6-time world champion.
Yeah.
So it's not as bad as tapping out to the Miz.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Here's the point I've been trying to make all these weeks, and this is kind of proof of what I'm saying. Jericho, when he came out to face Cesaro, and even though Cesaro was the U.S. champ, you knew right away, without a doubt, unless Fandango interfered, that you knew Cesaro was going to lose that match. Mm-hmm. You knew, without a doubt, Cesaro was going down to Jericho. Okay? And this is your U.S. champ you're talking about. Now, Fandango, on the other hand, who's never even wrestled a match in the WWE yet, is facing Jericho at Mania, and I'm not real sure who's going to win that match. I think Fandango might take it.
I do too.
And that's the point I'm trying to make when I say they're devaluing Cesaro and the U.S. champion. That's what I mean. You know for sure that Jericho's going to beat the U.S. champ, but you don't know for sure that he's going to beat this guy that hasn't even wrestled in the WWE yet. That's what I've been trying to get at.
I just don't get it.
But I'll.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah. So then we get the Funkadactyls versus the Bella twins.
Which I don't mind looking at the Bella twins.
Well, and I don't mind looking at the fucking Dactyls. You know, hey, and I gotta say, it wasn't bad. I was actually pleasantly surprised. The Funkadactyls pulled out some good moves. Naomi in particular, she had a couple good moves in there, man. The Bells escaped with the win, but you know, I was really impressed. You know, a couple good drop kicks, looked pretty crisp. A couple Hurricane Radas. They look like they've been doing their homework, man. So
just do something with them, though. You know, I hate these matches that don't mean anything.
Yeah, but you know, this is kind of a build up to
the big match they had at WrestleMania.
The mixed tag.
Just remember, this is a match on WrestleMania, and the Intercontinental Championship's not.
Yeah, I don't get that. And then on to the finale. Yeah, Taker comes out and talks about Punk.
Druids appear.
Yeah, we get the Druids.
The look of disbelief.
Throwback to the Ministry of Darkness.
I got chills. I mean, literally, this has that WrestleMania feel to it. Just that.
Yeah.
So far alone, you know, just the Druids coming out, the Undertaker's look on his face, and it's just like, what's going on?
And then you know you hear what sounds like Paul Bearer's voice and. Looks like Paul Bearer at the top of the ramp.
That's Paul Heyman.
Paul Heyman.
In the Paul Bearer disguise. Which is cool.
Yeah, and then of course Punk is one of the Druids and jumps Taker, beats him down and empties the ashes from the urn onto him.
And he kind of like rubbed them on him too.
Yeah,
like rubbed the ashes on him and like threw them down on the Undertaker.
Disturbing, but you know, a good strong ending, you know, to the last Raw before Mania.
Mm-hmm. Saved the show.
Yeah. And like I said, it had its moments. It wasn't bad. You know, I think too much recapping, man.
Yeah,
it's like we watch Raw every week. We know we don't need to see 10 billion recaps.
Yeah, save some of that recap space and make that U.S. title or Intercontinental title a championship defense. Add an extra few minutes to it. Let a commercial break happen in between. We know how these networks are. But let those matches mean something instead of the same old rehash stuff that we've seen week in and week out.
Right.
We know what's going to happen. Let's do something else.
Yeah, I agree. Like I said, you don't need a 5th, 6th, 7th recap. You know, especially most people who are fans are going to watch every week.
Yeah. And most fans are going to watch WrestleMania.
And most of them watch SmackDown and Raw.
Yeah.
So you see a recap on SmackDown, a recap on Raw, just over and over and over again. It's like, okay, we know.
We watched it last week. Yeah.
We know what's coming. We know the build-up. We know what's on the line. Let's just see a match. But, you know, did you hear one last thing on Raw? Did you hear there towards the end when Punk was beating down Taker, you heard a very audible "You suck" from one guy in the crowd.
Yeah. It's working.
But that wraps up Raw. What are your final thoughts there, man?
I think the last segment saved it. The Raw overall itself, kind of more of meaningless foolishness. I mean, just...
Yeah.
You know, I mean, the HBK and Triple H and Lesnar and Heyman segment was cool. The Punk and Undertaker, all their segments in the final segment was cool. But other than that, I mean, what really...
Being the last one going into Mania...
It was okay. I mean,
could have been stronger.
But I bought it. Especially that ending, I bought it. You know, I mean, as a fan, it got me excited about WrestleMania. Because we know that they're going to put it all out there on the line anyway.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so...
And I think it's shaping up to be a pretty good Mania.
It's pretty stacked.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Some good matches there on the card. I think it could be one of the stronger ones in the last few years.
Last year was okay. The year before was sucked.
Yeah.
What do you think is going to be the best match on the card?
I think there's a good possibility that Jericho Fandango could steal the show. It's going to be tough to top Taker and Punk, though. Mm-hmm. I mean, even though Taker is getting up there and, only wrestles basically once a year at Mania, I mean, he's still got it.
I think Punk could carry him through, though.
I think it's with those two guys involved, it almost has to be a good match.
Oh, yeah.
I can't see it not being a really, really, really good match. But we're about to get to all of that. This is normally the part in the show where I do the week in wrestling history. But we're going to skip it this week so we can squeeze in some predictions for the Ring of Honor pay-per-view and for Mania. There's tons of things that have happened in this week. There again, a couple Manias. But just for this week, we're going to skip it because we got 2 pay-per-views to run down here and kind of throw out our predictions for. We're going to go ahead and do the Ring of Honor, Super Card of Honor number 7 coming up. It's going to be Friday, 7:30 on Internet pay-per-view. And their Internet pay-per-views are really affordable. They're only like $15.
Well worth that.
Yeah, I mean, worth it and more. And they, at one time, were having some issues. I actually stopped getting their pay-per-views for a couple months because I was upset because they were having some technical difficulties, and half the time you paid for the pay-per-view and didn't end up getting to watch it until the replay. But they seem to have gotten all that straightened out, and the feed's looking better than ever. So if you like Ring of Honor or ever were interested in Ring of Honor, check it out, man. It's worth the $15, I promise you. And there's some really good matches on the card. I'm going to run down it real quick here so we can get to Mania. First we got ACH and Tadarius Thomas against QT Marshall. Don't call him Marshall. And a mystery partner. With this one, I'm going to go with Marshall and the mystery partner simply because it's a mystery partner. Anytime it's a mystery partner, it's a pretty safe bet that they're going to win. Then, what I think should be a really good match, a match that I never thought would happen, Charlie Haas against Shelton Benjamin. If you haven't been watching Ring of Honor, Haas turned on Benjamin, betrayed him, and so I'm going to pick Benjamin for that one to get redemption. Then we've got a really good tag team match here. It's actually a 12-man, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 12-man tag. It's Team ROH against this faction that Kevin Steen has put together called Scum. On the Ring of Honor side, we've got BJ Whitmer, Mark Briscoe, Mike Mondo. I love Mike Mondo. I think he's very underrated. And then Coleman and Alexander versus Team Scum, Jimmy Jacobs, Cliff Compton, pulling double duty from OVW, Rhett Titus, Jimmy Rave, and Rhino. I've got to go with Scum here on this one. They're on too big of a roll to not win this. Then we got Machine Gun Carl Anderson versus Roderick Strong. Roddy's a hell of a wrestler. I'm going to go with Anderson on this one just because of the wild card. Then we got a number 1 contenders match. Jay Lethal versus Unbreakable Michael Elgin.
Should be good.
Should be a hell of a match. I'm looking forward to that one. I'm going to go with Elgin because he's been building a lot of momentum. Lethal's already had his shot at the last pay-per-view. We're going to go with Elgin on that one. Then we got a 3-way for the TV title. Should be another really good match. Current champ Matt Taven defending against Adam Cole and Matt Hardy. I'm going to go with Hardy here because they've been building Hardy up for a TV title shot, and he joined Scum. they're on a roll. I'm going to have to go with Hardy. And this, what could possibly be the match of the night, the tag team title match, Fish and O'Reilly, the Red Dragon, defending against the American Wolves. I love the American Wolves. They remind me a lot of the British Bulldogs. I think that must be kind of where they took their name from, too. British Bulldogs, American Wolves. I love the Wolves. One of my favorite tag teams ever, but I'm going to have to go with Fish and O'Reilly here. They've been on a hell of a roll, and they seem to have had the Wolves' number. I would love to see the Wolves win it and get some revenge, but my gut tells me Fish and O'Reilly are going to retain here. And then Kevin Steen versus Jay Briscoe for the world title. I'm going to have to go with Steen here, as much as I hate to say it.
Been on a roll.
Yeah, and I don't see Briscoe taking the belt off Steen. And so that's the preview for Ring of Honor Supercard of Honor number 7. Catch it if you can. Should be a hell of a show. So now to the big one. WrestleMania 29. And
pre-show match, Barrett Miz. I mean, who gives a shit now?
Yeah, it's almost. I mean, it
probably going to be the Miz.
It's probably going to be a really good match, but yeah,
nobody ever see it.
I'm going to go with Miz here. They've been building him up too much. He's got victories over Barrett and Cesaro. Everything points to the Miz taking the title here.
For no reason.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of makes me sick. Nothing against the Miz. It's just they didn't even have a good enough build-up as far as between those two guys. Then we got a mixed tag. They're calling themselves Tons of Funk now. Brodus Clay and Tensai, or Sweet Tea as he's now known, with the Funkadactyls versus Rhodes Scholars and the Bellas. Now, I'm going to probably have to say the Scholars and the Bellas win it here.
They can't lose to them.
I just can't see them losing to them. The only reason I could see it going the other way is because it's probably going to be the opening match, I would say. And if it's the opening match, sometimes they want to kind of have your baby faces go over in that first match because it's a feel-good thing and it gets the crowd into it and all that. You don't want to have a letdown for the first match, but I'm sticking with the Rhodes Scholars and the Bellas on this one. Then we've got Jericho and Fandango.
Fandango is probably going to take it.
I'm picking Fandango to pull the major upset.
Sleeper of the night.
Yeah, they've built him up too much, and it being his debut match, and he shouldn't win.
No,
but I think he's going to, even if it's from whatever cheating, interference, probably not interference because nobody likes Fandango, but even if it's underhanded, I think Fandango takes it here, and I think it's going to be a good match. I got a feeling. Then the tag team titles, Hell No versus Ziggler and Langston.
Ziggler and Langston are going to take it.
I like Hell No, but I've also got Ziggler and Langston taking it. They've just built this up again too much, and Hell No's had a pretty good run for this day and age in the WWE.
6 or 7 months now.
They've had a really good run with the belts. I think Ziggler and Langston are going to take it. Then we get to the Ryback versus Henry. I think no doubt Ryback wins here.
He's got to win a pay-per-view match.
Yeah. Then we've got the trio. Orton, Sheamus Show versus The Shield.
Hopefully Orton turns heel and adds some kind of something to the mix.
Something like that's going to happen. I think regardless, the Shield wins here. Because if they don't win, that would just kind of
fizzle them out.
Yeah, and it would just totally deflate everything that they've done with them, and they would lose all their momentum.
Because they haven't lost on pay-per-view. They won at TLC, and they
I don't
won
think
at Elimination Chamber.
I don't think they've lost at all.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't think they've lost a match. Not that they've wrestled a lot of matches, but I don't think they've lost. I get the feeling possibly Orton could be involved with them somehow here and maybe turn on Show and Sheamus.
Hopefully.
Especially since they're trying to sell that Sheamus and Show are the two that don't trust each other, and Orton's the voice of reason. Come on, it's Orton, the Viper, man. And, yeah, I'm going with the Shield on that one. Del Rio versus Swagger, world title match. I'm going to say Del Rio retains.
And Ziggler cashes in afterwards.
That would be cool.
And that's
have two titles.
And that's silliness. I'm ready for that to go.
That match could go either way, but I don't know. I just kind of get the feeling Del Rio is going to keep the belt there. Then Triple H Lesnar.
Say it'll be good, but I say that you think the Triple H is going to win?
I think so. I really struggled with this one. I really did because, you know, what if Triple H is just ready to retire?
Mm-hmm.
But I would think, you know, and what HBK said kind of made me think about it. It seems like he would want to go out to somebody besides Lesnar.
Yeah. But Lesnar could win. I mean, that was kind of up in the air, really.
Yeah, like I said, I'm kind of divided on this one, but I'm gonna go with Triple H. I'm gonna say Triple H wins it because, you know, he might still want to stick around for another WrestleMania or two. But there again, he might be fed up and ready to retire. I don't know. Mm-hmm. But with his career being on the line, I don't know. I'm saying Triple H. Taker Punk, Taker.
Best match of the night.
Yeah, I think it'll be a hell of a match and it'll be close, but
Taker will get it.
I don't think CM Punk would want to take the streak. I wouldn't. You know, if it was me, I'd be like, no way, I'm ending the streak. No way in hell I'm doing it. Sorry.
If Triple H and Michaels couldn't do it back to back, then
right.
Nothing against Punk, but come on.
And the thing is that from what I understand, Mark Calloway, the Punisher, Undertaker, whatever you want to call him,
the American Badass.
He doesn't care about the streak. He couldn't give a damn about the streak. He's offered to lose the streak in the past, but it's like its own kind of entity that you can't end it now, man.
No,
Let him retire with the streak.
Yeah.
It's just you can't.
Yeah.
And like I said, I wouldn't want to be the guy, and I doubt that Punk wants to be the guy to end it. We all want to see Taker retire with that streak intact.
We just want to see a good match.
Yeah, and it should be a really good match. Yeah. But yeah, I'm going with Taker on that. The streak stays alive. Then we got Rock Cena for the WWE title.
Wonder who's going to win that.
As much as I hate it, I think it's going to be Cena. Because, you know, we all know Rock's not going to stay full time.
He is advertised for Extreme Rules.
Yeah, he is advertised after Mania. But I think I'm going to go out on a limb here. I think Cena turns heel to win. I think he does something underhanded. He could be the leader of the Shield.
Yeah.
Who knows? But I think Cena turns heel here. They almost have to turn him heel at this point.
Yeah. Especially in front of the New York crowd.
Yeah. And I think he cheats to win. And I think we're going to have Rock Cena 3 at next year's WrestleMania. I really think that's what's going to happen. I could be wrong, you know, just a prediction. But anyhow, that's about it. Somehow we squeezed it all in. And join us next week. We see how good our predictions were. And we're out of time. We got to go. For Mr. Ace Larson, I'm Electric Eric Davidson. This has been the Piledriver Weekly. We'll see you next time.